They said a shark in sneakers and a jet-propelled crocodile could never be friends. But chaos has its own logic, and sometimes the weirdest friendships are the ones that save the world. Far beyond the cities, beyond even the cracked roads and forgotten towns, lies a place that glows in the dark. A place where the trees hum jazz, where the water dances to the moon, and where the air smells like burnt marshmallows and cinnamon thunder. And somewhere in the middle of it, wearing nothing but a grin and a pair of shining blue Nike Air Force Ones, is a shark. Meet Tralaleiro Tralala, not your average shark. He doesn't swim, he glides, he doesn't bite, he boogies. He doesn't follow schools, he teaches the beat. His days are made of flips and footwork, skipping across lily pads like a skipping stone with rhythm. He twirls, he leaps, and when he lands, even the frogs burst into spontaneous applause. Tonight, the swamp is extra funky. Lightning streaks in loops. Fireflies buzz harmonies. The moon watches like a spotlight, and that's when the sky tears open. A silhouette dives from the sky, engines flaring. Trees bend. Water trembles. Boom! Something crashes into the heart of the swamp. But not just any crocodile. He's metal and muscle. Scales like tank plates. Eyes like missile scopes. A body shaped like a B-52 bomber. Wings folded into armored ridges. Meet Bombardiro Crocodilo. Half predator. Half war machine. Full mystery. Smoke pours from his nostrils. His tail sways like a loaded cannon. Systems reboot. Jet nozzles twitch. He's scanning. For what? Even he doesn't know. Tralaleiro lands on a floating log mid-moonwalk and smirks. Well, he says. Didn't know they delivered crocodiles with wings now. Bombardiro's targeting lens zooms in. You are not swamp military, the croc growls. Nah, says Tralaleiro, but I am head of swamp entertainment. A pause. Then, a deep, mechanical laugh. Like a lawnmower learning to sing. That's when it started. They clashed, but not with claws with rhythm. Tralaleiro spun. Bombardiro rolled his turbines. The trees swayed. The water pulsed. And when the music rose, they moved in sync. Two creatures from different worlds, bound by the beat. They built a raft together. Not because they needed one, just because it bounced when they danced on it. They challenged gravity together. Bombardiro would soar, and Tralaleiro would leap off his back into the clouds. They invented games. Sky tag, jet tango, marsh mud drifting. But the funky swamp wasn't just a stage. It was being watched. From the rift clouds came the vultures. Metallic, hungry, scenting oil and energy. Warbirds, they came in formation. Silent, sharp. Tralaleiro spotted them first. Yo, Croc, we got company. And they don't look like dance judges. Bombardiro's engines flared. I've seen those models. Black vultures, designed to scavenge tech. And soul. Tralaleiro didn't blink. Then we better show them the real show. Missiles became fireworks. Barrel rolls synced with breakdance. Every dodge, a beat. Every strike, a bass drop. They weren't fighting, they were performing war into art. When the last vulture fell in a swirl of confetti and smoke, the swamp shimmered. Peace returned. Bombardiro hovered, engines cooling. I was built to destroy. Tralaleiro floated by on a glowing lily pad. Maybe, but you dance better than most of the jazz frogs. Bombardiro chuckled. Where to now? And just like that, with a flap and a leap, they rose. A shark in sneakers, a crocodile bomber, leading trails of funk across the sky. But if you listen closely, really closely, when the swamp fog hums and the stars ripple, you'll hear the faint beat of engines and sneakers, and you'll know Tralaleiro and Bombardiro are still out there, dancing together forever. Te true? Tralaleiro and Bombardiro, the break in the beat, they used to fly together. A shark in sneakers and a bomber croc in the sky. Legends of the funky swamp, harmony on wings and fins. But even legends crack, and when they do, they don't always make music. It started with silence, the kind that grows when two voices stop listening. Bombardiro Crocodilo had changed. He flew higher, faster, beyond the swamp, past the rift clouds. He was scouting, dreaming, chasing upgrades in the metallic mountains. Tralaleiro didn't understand. No leaving, no war stuff, no military circuits. Bombardiro's engines whined. I need to evolve. We're not kids anymore, Trala. I got offered armor, altitude, purpose. You had purpose, Tralaleiro snapped. We had each other, and that was the first tier. Days passed. Bombardiro returned. Sleeker, colder, no longer dripping swamp moss, but lined in chrome. He brought company, 2 jet raptors and a blighthawk named Carnix. New squad, he said. New betrayal, Tralaleiro replied, walking backward into fog. They didn't speak for 17 sunrises. Then came the gunk storm, a flood of corrupted clouds, tar winds, and acidic thunder. The funky swamp was choking. Tralaleiro fought alone, tail-whipping mutant vines, spinning in his Air Force Ones until they tore. He called. Bombardiro didn't answer, or so he thought. On the 18th sunrise, something roared louder than the storm. Out of black clouds came a shining shape, bombing the rot with bursts of clean fire. Bombardiro, alone. I couldn't forget, the Croc said through smoke. Every boost, every upgrade, I thought it would help. But all I wanted was our beat back. Tralaleiro didn't speak. Spun, landed on Bombardiro's back mid-flight, and smiled. Together they soared. Hearts synced. The gunk storm faded, and the funky swamp pulsed again. They fought. They broke. They forgave. Because friendship isn't about being the same forever. It's about choosing to fly back, even when you've flown far. And somewhere above the clouds, a shark in blue kicks rides a crocodile bomber. Still weird, still wild, still best friends, forever. Title, Tralaleiro and Bombardiro, the beat beyond the sky. It had been years since Tralaleiro and Bombardiro had first become friends. The swamp was still funky, their feet still bounced, and their wings still sliced through the clouds. But something was changing. Tralaleiro couldn't ignore it anymore. The stars above felt off. He felt it deep within his bones. The world was shifting. The air was different. The swamp pulsed less with each passing day. He needed to know why. It was a night like any other. Tralaleiro was spinning in the moonlight, his blue Nike Air Force Ones glowing with each flip. He'd practiced the routine 100 times, but tonight, something felt wrong. He stopped mid-spin and looked up. The sky was still, silent. That's when he heard it, a low hum, a beat. Faint, almost imperceptible, but undeniably there. The rhythm was unlike any he'd ever known. It called to him. It beckoned. But it was far away, far beyond the swamp, far beyond anything they'd ever faced. Bombardiro's distant dream. Far from the swamp, Bombardiro Crocodilo hovered high in the sky, his engines humming softly as he watched the horizon. He'd been out there for months, flying deeper into the unknown reaches of the atmosphere. There was something calling to him too, something pulling at his very core. At first, it was the promise of upgrades, new armor, new speed, new power. He'd left Tralaleiro behind for this. He had to, or so he told himself. The swamp was small now, the same adventures, the same loops. He needed more. He needed to evolve. But as the stars grew closer, he realized he didn't feel right. The sky was vast, but it felt empty. And that beat, he heard it too, faint in the distance. It called him back, the divide. When Tralaleiro finally found Bombardiro in the outer atmosphere, he didn't greet him with joy. He didn't spin. He didn't joke. Where have you been? Tralaleiro asked, his voice tight. You were supposed to be by my side, Tralaleiro replied, his voice rising. We promised. We said we'd face everything together. No one would leave. I had to, Bombardiro said, his voice mechanical and cold. You don't understand. There's a rhythm out here that you don't hear. You never did. You don't hear it either, do you? Tralalairo's words cut through the silence. You hear what you want to hear. But the swamp, the real rhythm, it's inside us, together. Bombardiro's engines hummed low. his body shifting uneasily. "I don't know anymore, Trala. This is bigger than us." "You don't get it, do you?" Tralaleiro whispered. "I'm not asking for more. I'm asking for you, the great betrayal." And just like that, the divide was real. Bombardiro shot off into the void, leaving Tralaleiro behind. The sky felt emptier, the swamp seemed quieter, and Tralaleiro felt that silence echo deep within him. Days passed. Tralaleiro didn't dance. He didn't spin. He barely moved. He stayed grounded, looking up at the sky, waiting for something, anything, to fix this. Then, one night, the signal came again. But this time it was different. Louder, clearer. It was calling. Tralaleiro made the decision. He would find Bombardiro. He would bring him back. And so he flew. Through clouds, through storms, through space itself. The void was vast, and for a while it seemed endless. But then, through the swirling chaos of stars, he saw it. A flicker in the distance. Bombardiro, a massive black ship, floated near him. A fleet, military grade. Bombardiro had joined them. He'd become one of them. The confrontation. Tralaleiro landed next to Bombardiro, his eyes filled with emotion. "You've changed." Bombardiro didn't answer. He just stood there, his body covered in new armor, his engines silent for once. He was a shadow of the friend Tralaleiro once knew. Bombardiro looked at him, his eyes cold, distant. "You don't understand. I had to do this. You'll see." "I don't want to see," Tralaleiro replied. "I just want you back." The final battle. But words couldn't solve this. Not anymore. Bombardiro roared, his engines blasting to life. The sky exploded with energy as he shot forward, his new fleet following him. Tralaleiro, hurt but determined, leapt into the air. He spun, his sneakers creating shockwaves. The battle between them wasn't just physical, it was personal. It was two hearts fighting to understand each other again. The reconciliation. It took hours, but eventually exhaustion set in. Bombardiro's thrusters sputtered, and Tralalairo's spin slowed. They were both spent. "You were right, Bombardiro. You needed to evolve, but I needed you too. We both needed to change, but I thought we had to do it alone, but we never did." Bombardiro's voice was weak. I'm sorry, Trala. I thought I could do it without you." Slowly, Bombardiro reached out, and their hands Shark and Croc clasped together. The beat returns. The beat returned. Not from the stars, not from the signal, but from within them both. Together, they both felt it, pulsing through their hearts, through the sky. It was the rhythm of the swamp, the rhythm of friendship, the rhythm they'd always had. The universe had tested them, torn them apart, and almost broken them. But in the end, the beat was theirs again. Together, ending, full circle. Their story had become a legend, a story of rhythm, a story of coming back. And the universe, it had found its rhythm too. Together, they would dance forever. The end.